because all of those practices are just really preparation. They're just a build-up. They're the foreplay to the state of Ata Hir'eta Ladat Ki Ata Elohim Ve'en Od Milvadcha. Right, that's the pasuk from Devarim. Okay, good morning. Mo'adim lesimcha. This is the intermediate days, Chol HaMoed Sukkot, and we're at that joyous time. V'samachta b'chagecha, v'ayita ach sameach, and you shall rejoice, be in joy, be in the happiness of this harvest festival, or at least a harvest festival for our ancestors back in the days when we lived on the land and took our sustenance from the land. And this was the time of bounty, where the silos were now, or the storehouses were now completely full. And we were resting. We're letting our bodies and our spirits rest and just soaking it all in, taking in the bounty and the joy, and as well as the apprehension about the upcoming season, the winter. The winter was the time of the rains, and there was an apprehension whether the rains will come in their season, are the wells going to fill up? Is the earth going to soak up the moisture it needs for, the next agricultural season? So we're going to jump into a little bit of an analysis of Shmini Atzeret, the 8th day, the last day of the period of Sukkot. Sukkot is 7 days, and we have that 8th day that's called Shmini Atzeret, the gathering, the 8th day gathering. We're going to read a beautiful teaching by the Slonimer, a deep spiritual teaching about the progression towards the 8th day of Sukkot, which is very, very special, very uniquely spiritual, very simple in its observances, but very deep in its meaning. And we will, so the Slonimer here is, as usual, has a wonderful commentary on that. For those of you who have the book, this is the Netivot Shalom on the Holidays, volume Bet. And for those of you who have the book at home, this is page Reish Yud Chet, page Reish Yud Chet, 218, 18 for Mazel, for luck. And we're in the middle of the page. Ma'amar Sheni, Ata Hir'eta, or Har'eta Ladat, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim. So according to Slonimer, Slonimer takes us to a pasuk in Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 35. He brings a pasuk, Ata Har'eta Ladat, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, Ein Od Milvado. And that translates, you have come to know union, Ladat. Da'at in Hebrew means knowledge, but it also means intimate union. For instance, Vaida Ha'adam et Chava Ishto. So when Adam had and Eve had their first sexual union, their first intimate union, it is called an Adam knew Eve. They came to know each other intimately, meaning union. And this is also an expression of the spiritual experience, or the spiritual orgasm of the union, the experience of union when our consciousness is expanded enough to realize and to see and to enjoy and appreciate the unity of all. Right? So you have been shown, you have seen the union because Adonai is Elohim, because Adonai is God. And Adonai Yud Hey Vav Hey means essentially being, capital B, capital E, capital I, capital N, capital G, being. Because being is God. Ein od milvado, there is nothing else exists but being or union or God. So in the words of the Slonimer, Ita betorat avot b'shem maran hakadosh mikobrin zechron lo ya'ir aleinu. It is said in the Ethics of the Fathers, and this is a teaching in the name of one of the Slonimer's teachers, the holy Rebbe from Kovrin. Dimi bein hamitzarim, tru'a u'shvarim, aseret yemei tshuva v'yom ha'kippurim. Sukkah v'dalet minim. He says there is a common thread that runs between the 3 weeks leading up to Tisha B'Av in the summer, the blowing of the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, and also during the month of Elul in preparation for Rosh Hashanah. The 10 days of awe between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur itself, Sukkah, the Sukkah in obviously on the holiday of Sukkot, and the four species, the lulav and etrog that we use on Sukkot. Says there's a common thread that runs through all of those observances, all those holidays, all of those practices. Hakol hachana le'ata her'eta ladat ki Adonai hu Elohim. All of this is but preparation for the state, right? In quotes now, ata her'eta ladat. You have been shown the union because being is God. All of that is a preparation to that unique state, unique knowing. What does that mean? It means that all these holidays, starting from Tisha B'Av in the summer, through the preparations of Elul with the blowing of the shofar and Rosh Hashanah and the 10 days of awe and Yom Kippur, all that is, and Sukkot, all that is preparation for the holiday of Shmini Atzeret, the last 8th day and the last day of the period of the Tishrei, the fall holidays. Shebo הגילוי הגדול של אתה הראית לדעת, because that is the day of the revelation that is called, you have been shown the union. Al pi ma'amar Chazal, this is in the Talmud, and according to the sages of the Talmud, shepesach hu rishon beseder haregalim. Harei Shmini Atzeret hu siyum haregalim. If Passover is the first of the 3 festivals, so we're talking about Passover first, Shavuot second, and Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, really focus on Sukkot third. So then if Pesach is the beginning, the opening of the series of the 3 great festivals, then Shmini Atzeret is the closing. ולפי זה כל המועדים מובילים לשמיני עצרת. And thus, all of the holidays, all of the festivals, really are leading to that moment of Shmini Atzeret, the moment of the closing. שבו איחוד קודשא בריחו בישראל, בחינת בואו ונשמח אני ואתם. And on that day is the day of the unification of Israel and the Holy One, blessed be, in the way of, bechinat, meaning with the quality of, come, let us rejoice, you and I. So it's not just a union between the Holy One and the people of Israel, which basically means, well, what does it mean, the unity between the Holy One and the people of Israel? It means that there's some kind of coming together. There's some kind of, if we look at it from the point of view of the human experience, or the sort of attainment of a conscious, higher spiritual state of union, so this union is done in the context of joy, of rejoicing. ויש לרמוז זאת בכתוב, שיר השירים, and we see that hinted in the Song of Songs, chapter 8, ח' סימני כחותם על לבך וכחותם על זרועך. And here in the Song of Songs, the lover says to the beloved, please place me as a seal on your heart and a seal on your arm. Ki azak kemavet ava, because love is as strong as death. Wow, this is a wrap me around you like the tefillin, the heart, the arm, wrap me around you, because my love to you is, I want to be wrapped around you or die. You get the ecstasy, or you get the orgasm that this is referring to. So what's the point? Where are we going with this? כנזכר שבחותם על לבבך כלולים הימים טובים שאין בהם מצוות מעשיות, וכל חותמם רק בלב. So he says, what does it mean? Why does the lover say to the beloved, wrap me put me as a seal, place me as a seal on your heart and a seal on your arm? So they say the seal on your heart is the holidays that do not have observances, do not have proactive, positive observances. These are the holidays where that on the heart, because it has only to do with feeling, it's the holidays where we're celebrating a deeper, emotional state. וכחותם על זרועך, אלו הימים טובים שיש בהם מצוות מעשיות. And put me as a seal on your arm. The arm has to do with, is related to doing. And this is referring here to the holidays that include active doing types of practices, כמו חג הפסח. For instance, like on Pesach, we eat matzah, right? So that is chotam al zoacha. That's a seal on my arm, the doing aspect. וכל המועדים הללו מקרבים ומביאים לבחינת עזה כמוות אהבה. And all these holidays are in essence there to bring us to a state of my love is as intense as death, as of in this Song of Songs, right? So the holidays are about invoking that place of love and desire for union. And this is particularly true for Shmini Atzeret. It has no observances whatsoever. In Shmini Atzeret, there's no specific mitzvah, like Passover, eating matzah and Sukkot, it's a lulav and etrog, on Rosh Hashanah is blowing the shofar. Every holiday has its, on Shavuot, it's the bringing of the first fruits. But Shmini Atzeret is completely devoid of action. It's doing by non-doing. This is completely about the heart union, the invocation of the love, the intense love of a connection, a spiritual connection between heaven and earth, us and God, etc. Al pi ze yevuar, and here I'm going to skip a paragraph. I'm jumping forward now. This is the bottom of the second column. ועל פי זה יבואר מה שכתוב בתורת אבות, בה דדנו הפוסקים אם שמיני עצרת נקרא חג או לא. And this gives us a little of a better understanding of what is the discussion in the Ethics of the Fathers, where they are debating whether Shmini Atzeret is a holiday at all. וגם בתורה לא נזכר תואר חג על שמיני עצרת. And also in the Torah, Shmini Atzeret is not mentioned as a holiday. It's not referred to as such, whereas other of the festivals are mentioned as chag. And he explains it in the following way. Chag, the word chag, chet and gimel, so the acronym, chag is acronym for chasadim v'gvurot. The chet is for chasadim, gimel for gvurot. So chasadim and gvurot is loving kindness and strictness. Loving kindness and strictness. Ve'ilu Shmini Atzeret kulo chesed ve'en bo gvurot. He says, but Shmini Atzeret, as you can see from the verse in the Song of Songs, from the fact that we're not doing anything, it's just a holiday of feeling, of spiritual rising. It's really a contemplative holiday. It's a holiday where nothing really too much happens on the outside. It's really all internal. So therefore, Shmini Atzeret is all loving kindness, completely loving. There's no gvurot, no strictness, no form, no real, no real structure. It's all open. It's sort of like the universal, the sky is the limit, completely out in Blissland, which would be another way of describing chesed, chasadim. ואילו שמיני עצרת כולו חסד ואין בו גבורות, לכך אינו נקרא בתורה בשם חג. This is the explanation why the Torah doesn't call it a chag. ואומנם, and here's the beautiful wrap-up of this teaching. So here we are on this holiday that that looks like nothing, but really is sort of the ceiling. It's the everything. It's kind of like the pure essence of what a holiday is all about. So the Son of Says, holiday is not about all that doing, about the matzah and the shofar and the first fruits and the fasting and it's not about that. The essence of a holiday is the spiritual union with everything, with being, with Yud Kei Vav Kei. Right? That's the essence of the holiday. So here he wraps it up, and I really love this conclusion. ואומנם אי אפשר להגיע להתבטלות עילאית. Thus, one cannot attain that supreme nullification, that supreme nothingness, everyness, bliss, mitoch ahava, from a place of love, from this intense love, desire for union. And you see the metaphor for union, da'at, is, just like there's a union in between lovers, So that's a metaphor for the union, the supreme union between our consciousness and the supreme consciousness. It's a kind of melting into the mind of God, into the bliss of spiritual attainment. So he says, you cannot reach that peak, you cannot reach that height of union without having done the work of Tisha B'Av in the summer and repentance in Elul, Aseret Yemei Teshuvah v'Yom Kippurim, the 10 days of awe between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and the day of Yom Kippur, the fasting, building the sukkah, going out into the sukkah, experiencing the elements, having a kosher, beautiful sukkah that allows you to do that, going into that enclosed, sacred space in nature, v'dalet haminim, and shaking the etrog and lulav, and performing those rituals. Hoshana, right? Hatzlichana, shekulam hachana lemadriga shel ata hareta. Because all of those practices are just really preparation. They're just a build-up. They're the foreplay to the state of ata hareta, ladat ki ata Elohim ve'en od midvarcha. Right? That's the pasuk from Devarim, chapter 4, verse 35. That ultimate state of spiritual attainment, sheikara avodah b'Shmini Atzeret, which is the essence of the observances of Shmini Atzeret. And with that understanding, what is Shmini Atzeret for you? What is spiritual attainment for you? How does Torah help you spiritually grow? How does Torah help you experientially and from a heart place? Be more of yourself at a higher state, closer to the divine. In that state, and you have seen or experienced the union. How does that work for you? Leave comments below. I want to end here with the blessing that every holiday, every observance, every piece of Torah that we learn and that we practice brings us into a tad deeper, a tad higher, closer to the bliss that is our birthright in this life. So, Moadim L'Simcha, Chag Sameach. Thank you for the privilege of sharing Torah today here together, and until the next time, Shalom. Please subscribe by clicking the red button below. Like, share, comment. It is great to have you here. See you later.